Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We have made it again to another episode of Pickup Lines presented by Gamez Law Firm, Integrity Roofing and Siding, and the Sabinal Group, and we are live inside the all-electric Lexus RZ 450e, courtesy of North Park Lexus of San Antonio and North Park Lexus at Dominion. And now that I've said all that, I can introduce the great Connie Gonzalez, who resume reads like Santa's wish list at Christmas time, because it's very long and full of accomplishments. But I guess toward the top of that, you're the Chief Strategy Officer at Brooks. We're in Brooks, or at Brooks.
You made
at
it.
the very moment.
Here.
As evidenced by, I did not lift this here. I was lent this, you call it this, the Brush?
Brush. It's the like a Nike swoosh, but the Brooks Brush. And
Right.
we actually have like a massive, I don't know how many feet it is, but a really life-size one.
Oh yeah, no, well this one barely clears, and I mean barely clears the ceiling of the car. But it could be like you could impale somebody with it if...
You didn't scratch anything. We'll make sure to tell Lexus that you didn't scratch anything.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're good for the moment. And the car shouldn't move. Something crazy would have to happen for the car to move. I'm so happy to have you here because you are another person that I have watched and admired from a distance just over the years, watching you do your thing.
Right back at you.
Thank you. As evidenced by some of the cool props you brought, which we'll get to in a minute. But I guess I should start with the fact Samantha Naheda was with me the other day, and you fit the club also of having been a former TV news reporter and anchor. I think about 10 years ago at this time,
Yes.
you were anchoring weekend newscasts in a couple of different markets, right?
Ernie, I never thought I was going to leave TV. And then 9 years ago...
Neither did I, by the way. But enough about me, but go ahead, Connie. No, I had read that you were so passionate about storytelling, and I know you interned at one of the stations here in town, and you were set for a long, prosperous career in broadcast journalism.
I made up my mind before high school, but I went to Communication Arts High School. We're in San Antonio,
Taft,
so high
yes.
school is important here, right? Communication Arts was
That's right.
with Taft. Did the fun stuff, cheered with Taft, but my studies was really with Com Arts, and I was the anchor for our senior announcements, and we had video announcements because we were super tech savvy back then, not compared to they are today.
I remember I did a similar thing, and I'm significantly older than you, but so you're my type of person right off the bat. But tell me about the moment when you realized TV news was not going to be it for you, and you were made for better and bigger things.
Yeah, so after Com Arts, Texas State, electronic media, did those news announcements, if you will, and then went on, interned with KSAT in high school, interned with WAI in college for my last couple of semesters, and then interned with the Spurs. And that was the different part of the world for me. That was the first part where I was actually making the news, not reporting the news.
Got it.
And with the Spurs, it was external affairs. And so government relations, everything the Spurs had to do with the community, that's where I met. Well, I'll hold off on that part. I'll hold off.
I think I know where you're going, but go ahead.
That's where I met my boss.
I'm going to bring this up because a super cool guest she brought in as if you needed proof that... Now, I knew you worked at the Spurs, so here's her name badge from your time at the Spurs. I did not know. I guess this is your hometown.
Chicago,
so
Illinois.
You were born in Chicago.
Yes. Illinois Masonic Hospital. I live not too far from Lincoln Park Zoo. One of the best zoos in the country.
Okay.
But San Antonio raised me. Mom moved my sister and I down here when I was 4.
Okay, that was my next question. Under what circumstances did you come down here? Because I always thought you were... I knew you went to high school here. I didn't realize you were born in Chicago. So.
Yes. And now I don't go back to Chicago after October or before March.
Right. It's too cold.
Because I'm not built like that anymore.
I'm not either. I totally get it.
But I didn't answer your question, so let me fast forward. When I didn't realize news wasn't for me, I was in news for 3 years. San Angelo, super small market, and then I moved on to Fayetteville, Arkansas. About 100 market jumps.
That's a nice jump. That's a jump.
But in about 3 years between the two, Mom, when she would come visit, I would get excited because she would take me out to get mani-pedis because I couldn't afford that. My sister still had me on her phone bill, again, because I couldn't afford that. And so it was a tough life, and I was paycheck to paycheck. People don't realize. I will say when I started, I made a whopping $18,000. After the first year, I got moved up to $19,000.
With a college degree.
Yes.
and some experience. Kids, let this be a lesson for you. Not everybody on TV is filthy rich.
Yes. And then when I went to Fayetteville, Arkansas, there was a slight jump, and then I forgot about state taxes. So the jump that I thought I was getting, state taxes kicked in.
Oh my gosh.
So that's when I realized I wanted to be able to afford a glass of wine with dinner every so often and still make my bills. But actually more so, I still loved it. And again, my family was supporting the heck out of me and my dream. I never thought I was going to leave news. I really thought I was going to be the person to work my way up to hopefully a top 10 market. And you know, evening news is usually when you made it, which isn't ideal for a family, but that's usually, And then life happened and an opportunity came my way, and here I am.
So, not to give the ending away, but I think I know where you're going with this. So we alluded to the fact that you were with the Spurs.
Yes.
And so I'm guessing during your time with the Spurs, you connected with the great Leo Gamez.
Yes.
Who offices probably in the same building as you do now.
Yes. On the opposite side of our office space. I don't know if that's on purpose or not.
Okay. But was he the one ultimately that threw you the lifeline when you were living paycheck to paycheck?
So when I interned for him, again, I was his last intern, his best intern, I'm pretty sure.
Of course,
with all due respect to all of the other interns. But he was super helpful. Still is one of the greatest mentors of my entire career. And he allowed me not only to work within external affairs at the Spurs, he allowed me to work with game ops because he still knew I wanted to pursue a news career. And so I was still working on my resume reel while I was at the Spurs. Right. But again, kept in touch with him. When I would come back in town to visit family, I would try to catch up over breakfast or coffee with Mr. Leo Gamez at that time.
Yeah, Leo Gamez. Mr. Leo Gamez.
And this came about.
Yeah.
I was actually in the airport traveling to somewhere pretty fun, and I got an email, and it was the, do you know of anyone interested? Here's the position, here's the job description, here's the salary range, and they'd be working with me. I looked it over. It was public relations manager, and all of the job description. I was like, yep. Ooh, okay. And I replied, I'm like, I know someone, me, and you'd be working with me.
Reunited.
But he put me through the ringer. I will give him that. I had to submit an op-ed. I submitted my resume reel. I had a couple of phone interviews, flew down back to San Antonio, had a one-on-one interview with him, a one-on-one with the chief operating officer at that time, and then 2 panel interviews.
Oh my goodness.
I know, a panel interview with the rest of the executive leadership at that time, and then a panel interview with our marketing agency at the time. And
that's a lot more difficult than getting a job in TV news. Like, I thought that was hard. Goodness gracious. But you obviously impressed enough people, and the rest is history. But you came in, you said, as was a marketing director?
Public relations manager was my title. I was a department of 1.
That was in, what year was that?
2015.
2015. So almost 10 years ago. And you obviously worked your way up now. You are the chief strategy officer. Yeah. So somebody comes to Brooks, they drive up to the campus or this area, this part of town. I think you'll immediately notice here. There's a newness to where we're parked right now. How would you describe to an extraterrestrial came down from the heavens, or somebody who has no clue, out-of-towner, no clue what Brooks is? How do you explain what the Bruce is and what this place is? So
in a nutshell, we were an Air Force base. It got closed down. Back then, it was very unfortunate, and elected officials and stakeholders tried to do everything that they could to keep the Air Force base.
Right.
And now here we are, more than 20 years after that happened, and we've had $1.34 billion in development. Billion
with a B.
Yes, with a B. Yes. And today, you roamed around just a little bit, almost $700 million more in development. Different projects moving dirt, coming either just broke ground or are about to open.
Right.
And so we're a mixed-use community, and being able to do all things on 1,300 acres, live, work, learn, play, stay, and wait for it. Community Bible Church just opened. You can pray here as well.
And pray! Yes. Oh my gosh, okay.
And so all of those things in close proximity, focusing on quality of life, is our strategy in attracting businesses. businesses to a pocket of San Antonio that was often overlooked.
Right.
And then businesses just for the greater good of San Antonio. At the end of the day, we're an economic hub.
Yes.
Just one of many across the city of San Antonio.
So I know when we talk about expansion around San Antonio, a lot of attention is given to parts on the north side and the northwest side, or whatever the case may be. But I mean, you are quick to remind people that there's a lot of exciting things happening right here, right now.
And when I took this job almost 9 years ago,
Yeah.
Arnie, I'll be honest, I had never really experienced the south side of San Antonio.
Right.
You said I went to Comarts and Taft, and so I was a
Which is
northwest sider.
opposite side, right, north side ISD.
And so I was actually excited about coming back to San Antonio and moving to a different part of San Antonio that I wasn't familiar with. And my brother-in-law is a graduate of Highlands High School, and so he and his family were very familiar and were like super stoked when I was going to come to this area. And I moved here literally across the highway, so just a few minutes away, lived there for a couple of years, and then when we got the Kennedy apartments that opened at Brooks, I lived there also for a few years. And so I really did all things live Brooks.
Living it, all of it. Do you miss news at all?
Yes and no. So the lifestyle, no. And beyond the paycheck.
The $18,000 a year?
Those are good times. Good
state taxes?
Hey,
in
remember
Arkansas?
where we came from, right?
Yeah, I do remember.
I mean, this kind of stuff is still fun. My favorite thing was live shots, because whether you like did an awesome job or you did awful, it's one time and then you're done.
That's true.
And then you move on. And I liked to where I was an anchor and reporter, because there was days where I wanted to go meet people and tell their story, and I was part of the generation that only knew MMJs, carrying my own camera.
Yeah, one-man band, as we talked about.
One-man band.
Multimedia journalist, right?
Yes. I filmed, I edited, I did my own live shots with the little backpack. I was that generation, and so I got and then there were some days where I just wanted to read a teleprompter, and I was always either the weekend anchor or the first to fill in anchoring. And so I got the best of both worlds.
That's good.
But with the flexibility and me being the first, sometimes I would be coming in at 1 p.m., leaving at midnight. The next day I might be coming in at 2 a.m. and leaving at 9 or 10 a.m. And then the next day I might be coming in at 9 a.m. and leaving at 6. And so...
hard to have much of a social life, by the way.
Breaking news doesn't really wait for when you
never takes a day off, as like I said, even on holidays and weekends and everything. When you took the job, when Leo called and you passed all 17 interviews and rounds and everything, did you think that this was going to be a landing spot where you would lay down some roots for here we are 9+ years in, or did you think this was just maybe a little stepping stone to something else?
I never thought I would be here 9 years later. It's crazy, and I think the best part is that it's still super exciting. It's a different, just like news, it's different every day. I'm handling a different story. I'm tackling a different fire. And so, no, it's still interesting. But no, 9 years later, I always say you multiply that by 7 in millennial years. So we're surpassing 50. It's like dog years.
You're using my line. I tell people... Morning news to me, I've said this many times, you know who you are, it's like dog years. Every 1 year I did the morning show, I would age 7 years. So I'm really 25 years old. I just look like, no, I'm not. But,
Same.
But yeah, right, get out of here. Respectfully, I want to say this. I feel like you are literally everywhere, to the point where there are times I thought you had an identical twin, or... but that's the nature of your job, right? It's ribbon cuttings, it's luncheons, it's galas, it's
community.
And I mean, that's literally which is so great. You've been awarded so many different things, which we'll get to in just a little bit, but I would challenge you to find anybody who's been on more magazine covers or articles, and there are more magazines. This is just the one that I just grabbed here a little while ago. When you see yourself like this, is it like when you used to watch yourself on TV? Do you like this? Like,
it's weird. Right. Don't get me wrong. My team took from the launch party of that.
Yes.
A much larger one, and it's in my office. And they asked if I wanted to bring it today, and I was like, "No, it's too big. It's too big. It's too much."
Yeah.
My gosh, seriously, for those that have heard me speak, I often say that I'm lucky and blessed, and there is absolutely a difference. And from my family, my true family,
Yeah.
friends, and my work family. Like, I'm super, super grateful.
So San Antonio Business Journal's 40 Under 40 Women of the Year. The Texas, the 100 influential professionals to watch out for. I know that was a big deal for you. When one finds out that they've made a list like that, we're talking the entire state of Texas, 100 influential professionals to watch out for, and you are on that list. That must have been a pretty good day.
Wow. The 40 Under 40 Women of the Year.
Yeah.
One, I was just excited to be accepted as a 40 Under 40 and being surrounded and on that
Right.
list with all of those folks.
Right.
And honestly, I thought the Business Journal had already secretly told whoever won the Woman and the Man of the Year. I didn't know it was a surprise. And so I kid you not, right before they were about to announce, I was empty on my margarita. And I was like, okay, right when they announce this person, I'm going to like get up really quick and then go get a refill of the margarita. And they announced, and I was like, deer in the headlights. I had my family, good friend, my Thea from Chicago was actually in town.
Oh, nice.
Just worked out.
Okay.
And then my boss, Leo, was there, and he's like 2 chairs away, so I have to walk by him before I get on the stage. I hug him, and I was like, oh, what do I say? And he was like, get up there, have fun.
Now the news background kicks in, and you just start ad-libbing off the top of your head.
And as a true PR person, newser, my phone is like stuck to my hand, and I think I was holding it so much, and I realized, one, that I walked up with my phone.
Yeah.
And right when I get up there, I see that it's like unavailable for 5 minutes, I think, because I was just holding it so tight on the side, and I'm like, oh no.
You overheated it.
I overheated it. And so definitely not prepared, but quite the exciting.
And this sucker literally weighs, hold on, make sure I'm holding it correct. So this is the hardware. I mean, this is a solid piece of glass, by the way. This is and that's super cool that you're acknowledged by your peers and just other people at the local level, at the state level. Why do you think, I mean, and I know you're not the type to brag on yourself and everything, but why do you think people continue to honor you for what you're doing? Is it something specific that you obviously are doing correct?
Well, I hope so.
Yeah. Or what is it? That you're obviously doing something right. What is it?
I mean, honestly, the fact that I am able to be and focus on community and recognize that my team is handling the day-to-day on the Brook side, I'm able to be out, make these connections, make these partnerships, I think is super important. And so I am super grateful for Team Brooks, from the board to my executive leadership team and my actual team. Beyond that, it's really just having conversations, sitting down and taking time aside and figuring out what's mutual benefit between new and familiar faces. I am the first to recognize that I don't want to be a Swiss Army knife. There's no way that I will last much longer. My gas tank will be running on fumes if I'm trying to be all things. And so surrounding myself with the people that are better at the things that I'm absolutely not, which usually are like the numbers and detail-oriented people. Okay, that's fine. and in a conversation, it's just amazing with a few minutes face-to-face what can come of potential partnerships. And that's how we have been successful.
I do like that analogy, because I think sometimes people do try to be the Swiss Army knife. In other words, you're everything, or you try to be everything. Which is very, very hard to do. Because as if she doesn't have enough to do already, you are also pursuing more education as we speak.
Yes, I am currently in the executive UTSA program. Again, I'm thankful that Brooks is allowing me to spend my Saturdays.
What?
No, they're like, you still have to be here Monday through Friday. You can go to school on Saturday from 8 to 5. And it's a cohort style. There's a little more than 20 of us. We're in the 4th of 5 semesters, so it's 21-month program.
Oh my gosh, you've been going at this.
But and everyone's like, oh, it'll be done quick, and I'm like,
So this is to get a master's?
A master's, MBA.
So again, forgive my ignorance, but I'm so thrilled for you. Why would you seemingly have it all, and you're so successful and award winning, and you're doing all these things? Why would you why would you pursue additional education? What are you going to do with that?
Sure. So first, why not?
Okay, great answer.
I guess I think I get bored easy. No.
She doesn't have enough to do.
But I do like learning. And I just said it, that I know my weaknesses,
Yes.
if you will, which are the finances and the detail-oriented things. And so the MBA is teaching me to be, to know enough. I'm certainly not trying to be the expert. I certainly plan to continue to surround myself with the people that are experts.
Very good.
I pride myself in knowing a little about a lot instead of a lot about a little.
Very good.
And so that's what this is doing for me. It's sharpening my knife, if you will.
I like it.
And
I like it.
The perfect day is now.
So soon she'll have another tassel to match this one, which is
Eat 'em up, cats.
So you had a good weekend 2 weeks ago on Saturday.
So I know this is going to be the unpopular tassel in San Antonio, but again, recognizing where we came from, 2012 Texas State. And yes,
good for you.
The first time we beat UTSA, and actually 2012, Ernie, was the first year that we played UTSA
in football.
Yes, and in the 5 games that we lost, we never lost as much as UTSA did. or the score was not.
Talking some trash. I like it.
I wasn't the fan favorite when I showed up to school because I had school on the day that they played.
On that day.
And I had my Texas State alumni shirt. They respected
scoreboard.
it.
That's all you had to say was scoreboard. Well, soon you'll have both tassels. So
yes.
That's very, very good.
I'll have one shirt on the front and the other one on the
back. I guess so. Yeah, you have to do that. So what do you do for fun? How do you unwind when you're not in, knee deep in studies and all the stuff here at Brooks?
Travel. And back to the program, my next big trip is actually associated with the EMBA program. In January, we're going to Lisbon, Portugal, and Madrid, Spain. And so it's about 2 weeks, and it's one city that's being developed and the other one that is developed for us to learn. So it's still school, and it's
a working
still a grade,
trip.
But I've never been to Portugal or Spain. So
you're getting a grade for this?
Oh, yes.
What?
Yes.
Sign me up for that. I like that curriculum. Coolest place you've ever gone to, visited?
Coolest place I've ever visited? Probably Greece. I went to Athens and Mykonos, Greece.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go in 2020, and obviously, the world
didn't happen.
So postponed a couple of years. But no, that was awesome. I went to Italy in the same trip.
Yes.
And got by because I was speaking Spanglish, and then I get to Greece, and I'm still glad that they can. They're fluent in Italian, which is very close to Spanish, so I still got by. Otherwise, I would have. I don't even know how to pronounce anything that's a Greek word, let alone try to read it.
It's all Greek to me, as I like to say. Exactly. A couple more minutes here with Connie Gonzalez. So I was going to go back to this here because you spent some time with the Spurs. Was this during their championship run by any chance?
It was. My internship ended, I think, in like February or March, and that summer is when they got their final ring, which
2014.
Yes.
Okay.
And so Leo would have gotten all 6 rings, and I'm sorry, all 5 rings.
Right.
All 5 rings.
Of course
and he left just short because he started at Brooks in May, and I started in San Angelo also in May.
Yes.
So I missed the opportunity. I don't know if they gave interns even like plastic
or
rings.
A pendant or something. I don't know.
A T-shirt, something.
I wouldn't know. I don't know. I don't know. But those were some fun times, I would imagine. Just back when the Spurs. I know the really young Spurs fans probably don't know what we're talking about, but that was from '99 to 2014.
Back when I actually knew like most of the team's names.
Yeah.
And now they're 12. It seems like they're 12.
But we got Wemby. We got Wemby. Some exciting times are coming. So let's as we wind down here, just getting back to Brooks and everything. And I'm just looking outside of the car. It's really nice and picturesque. And the building that you office out of you've been in since February? You said
we just moved in Water's Edge 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
We've been working on these 2 Class A office buildings for almost a decade. So prior to my tenure, and now you can see them out of these windows. They're awesome. Now we're just waiting for some neighbors to fill
tenants.
both of the buildings. It's a fun office market post-COVID. But, oh my gosh, there was a little while right when we moved in February where it was kind of like, do we merit these really nice offices? We have been in the old Air Force daycare for so long. There was a certain smell. I'm sure there was ghosts because there was a lot of noises and And it was just a really odd shape again because it was old daycare, so some of the doorknobs were lower, some of the toilets were lower for the kids.
Yeah, okay.
And then now we have this brand new space for the first time in our 20-year history. It's
fantastic, awesome. Fantastic stuff. Years from now, when you hang up your whatever it is and you get on to, how would you like to be remembered? What do you think books will be like, or what would you like to see happen?
So in 2 words, our mission and vision, and also my legacy, if I were to put it that way, impact and regional prosperity. Mm-hmm. And so seriously, if we were not strategic or we didn't care about uplifting the surrounding communities that have been here for generations, we would have developed this former base in 5 years and been on to the next one. But we have been very picky, if you will. We've had high standards, recognizing that this pocket of San Antonio did not necessarily get the standard that they deserved. And so again, here we are. We technically closed down in about 2005. The Air Force didn't leave until 2011. And so really about a decade is how long we've been working. We still have about 300 acres to develop. And again, on how we're being selective and picky and having high standards, we're hoping that's leading to regional prosperity. And when I say hoping, in the past decade, household income on the Brooks campus, but more so in the surrounding area, which is much larger footprint of about 7,000 acres, household income has increased by 36%. High school education has increased by 11%, and then unemployment rate has also decreased by 4%. And so those are the metrics that keep us honest and go to show that we're truly uplifting the community and we're achieving regional prosperity.
So you're doing something right, and that's why you keep getting all these awards that are very heavy. Seriously,
Team San Antonio.
Your trophy case or room or wing, it's pretty she's never going to say that, but she's got a lot of awards, and but well deserved, and she would never take all the credit because I know Leo has had a lot to do with that as well.
Absolutely.
But there she is. To get you to autograph this.
When I went back home in June, we had a mini family reunion. And, and my mom made sure to send me with a lot of magazines. And I was like, no, they don't want them.
Look at me, huh? She's...
my cousins, my aunts and uncles. And if I didn't get to them, then they walked up to me and they're like, I hear you're passing out magazines. Where's mine? And please sign it.
Exactly.
Yes, Theo, got it.
You're famous. You're famous. Connie, I'm so happy for you. By the way, you want to find out more about what's happening here and just some of the things that she's just talked about. LiveBrooks.com is the website. LiveBrooks, all together, LiveBrooks.com. And I know we could do another 30 minutes on everything that's happening here, but it's exciting. I'm so happy for you and Leo and the team. I'm a little envious of the nice digs you have here.
We have empty cubicles.
Pretty cool. Well, yeah, well, I have to see. I'll have to see what I can do. But thank you for sharing your experiences, and all the best to you with your studies and everything and your travels and all that. It's exciting.
Pray for me. May 2025, here I come.
It'll be here before you know it. It'll be here, and she'll have another tassel again. She'll have bookends to match with the other. The next one will be orange and navy blue. But, and then will you say, like, birds up on one hand, and what is it? Eat 'em up cats.
Eat 'em up cats.
Okay.
Yes. Best of both worlds.
That's good. Good to see you again.
Thank you for having me.
Connie Gonzalez, ladies and gentlemen. Just getting it done here at Brooks. Give my best to Leo, by the way, too.
I sure will.
LiveBrooks.com if you'd like more information. All right, there's another episode of Pickup Lines in the books right there. We'll be back again very soon. You never know. We'll be sitting in the chair right here. But we always have a lot of fun and learn a lot together. So have a great day. Bye for now.